Hey everybody, it's Christopher Nejman. In continuation from my last video, so I posted that video on my wall, on my YouTube channel that is yesterday, and today the new walking foot came in that I ordered. So I want to do a little review from my last video for you that may have missed it, and I want you to go back and watch it. So this was a walking foot that I found online, and it said it was the SA140. Now if you look in your instruction manual, it tells you the accessory part number in America for the walking foot for this Brother SE625 is the SA140. Okay, so when I ordered it and it came in, it was not the right walking foot. It was not wide enough because this machine is a 7mm wide distance on the throat plate, so you can do wide satin stitches, you can do decorative wide stitches, things like that. So I talked about this in the last video, so go back and watch that video. It's the one before this one. Today, the foot that I found, the walking foot that I found after this one, I went back online and researched, and it said genuine walking foot by Brother, and it has the Brother logo on it, right? So as you can see also, the nice thing about this foot is it's got some red markings here, and you use these markings for your guides when you're pivoting, which is great, whereas this one does not have it. This one's also an open toe, so you can see exactly what you're stitching. This one does not. This one also has a plastic guard on top of the metal needle bar, where this one just has a metal, there's no plastic guard. And this is nice. This is nice to have because it's like an extra protection for when it goes over your needle bar. So let's put this in. And the way this goes in, I gotta lower my needle a little bit here. So it goes in like any other presser foot in the back, the ankle that is. And watch, it's gonna be tricky for me because I'm on camera right now. Let me just get in here. Okay, so the fork goes over the needle bar, and then you've got your, this part goes on the screw. Okay, so now I'm going to screw that in, tighten it in, and then right before I give it a really good tightening, I'm going to lower it and then give it a good snug tight. Okay, good. Be careful because this is plastic, it's not metal. Even on the Brother original one, this part here is plastic. So just snug it, you know, give it a little snug, just so it's firm enough, okay? Because that is not metal, okay? All right, so now let's give it a test. And also it has the quilting bar. The quilting bar comes in. Now this is not a heavy duty walking foot, because I know they sell an elite version of the walking foot, which is really heavy duty. Okay, so here's the quilting bar that comes with it. Alright, this is the quilting bar that comes with it. And the quilting bar from the generic one is actually longer. I think it's actually, no, it's the same size. Same size, it just appeared longer before. Alright, let me put that back in. Oh, I know why it appeared longer, is because I was using it on the regular ankle. On the regular ankle, whereas the distance between this and the back of the walking foot will make this look shorter in the front. That's why. All right. So you've got to think these things through. It's like I said, it's something you have to always say, what did I do wrong, or what am I not looking at? Alright, so now let's just take a regular piece of fabric here just to give it a shot. Okay, so now I'm going to lift my presser foot. Now I want to get a close up here so you can see this first of all. Let me move the camera in closer for you so you can see. Alright, so as you can see, I have the camera, the needle in the far left needle position. Let me get this camera here again. I'm sorry, my apology. My apology, I'm bumping everything here. Okay, so in the far left needle position you can see that it's not getting hung up on the edge because it's meant, this is the correct size walking foot. And then if I move the needle all the way to the right, lower it, you see it's clearing it. Whereas the other one wasn't clearing it because it wasn't dedicated, it wasn't the right walking foot. Let me just get this camera up here so I can get in here and sew. All right. Like I said in one of my other videos I did on this machine, if this machine had a knee lifter, it would be the ultimate little compact machine. Alright, so let's do... Is my thread almost out? Nope. Last time my thread fell out because I was messing with it. I talked about that also. Alright, so here we go. Let's set it for the center. Well, let's just do the left needle position so you can see. Okay, there's the left needle position. Raise the needle. Let's go to the right. I'm going to move the needle all the way over to the right. There we go. Let's sew that. Okay, we'll lift the needle, and then we're going to go back to a center needle position. Now this center needle position is great because if you're ever stitching in the ditch, they call it. Stitching in the ditch is when you sew in the well of the seam. And they do that on quilting. Like if you have pieces that meet together and you're actually sandwiching your quilt top with your batting and your bottom layer, and you want to sew inside that seam so you have that puff on the, if this is a block for example, you would make that block puff. You understand? So other quilters can teach you that. I know how to do all this. I'm just not the expert at quilting like the rest of you are, but I could teach quilting and show you things. But so stitching in the ditch is in the well of the seam when you're quilting. And remember, if you're making a quilt top, you're called a topper or a piecer. If you're actually doing the quilting, which is 3 layers, the quilt top, which is the piece top, the batting, which is in the middle, and the bottom layer, and you're sandwiching it together, and you're sewing the 3 together, you are a quilter. Whether you're doing straight stitching like this, whether you're doing free motion stitching, you are now the real quilter. The one who does the piecing of the top of the quilt is called the piecer or the quilt topper. Okay? I learned that from an Australian gal at a quilt show. She said if you just piece the top, you're actually called a topper. But a lot of people call themselves a quilter even though they never put 3 layers together. So it's very misleading to the newbies to understand which each person is. And just like I talked about needles, how it's very confusing for the newbies to understand needles when veterans come on and they don't even tell them, oh, you need to use a universal size 12. They just say, oh, use a size 12, but they don't tell them what type. So it's very important to understand that stuff. So newbies, I'm on your side. I'm on your side. I always come on these groups and I say, please tell them what type of needle. And all of a sudden the room gets real quiet. No one says anything. So you've got to understand, if you're going to help somebody, make sure you give them the correct help or show them where the education is or tell them. Okay? All right. So anyway, this is great here. Sewing beautifully. All right, let's cut the thread. Let's check this out. All right. So as you can see, this was the left needle position. This was the, where are we at here? This was the right needle position, and this was the center needle position on this walking foot. Again, this said it was a authentic Brother walking foot, and it is because it's got the 7mm wide. This part number is, which is in your instruction manual, everybody. That's something I want you all to start looking at, is your instruction manuals, okay? Because your instruction manuals will have so much information for you. And just let me back this camera up and get you so I can show you some stuff. There we go. So, your instruction manual, you have an optional accessories page. And on the optional accessories, see it says optional accessories. You've got all the accessories that tells you can order from Brother itself. Okay? And actually there's more than this. If you go to your sewing machine store, if you have one near you, they have more feet than this. Trust me, they do. But anyway, it gives you the part number, what it is. Like that walking foot was SA140. However, the vendor that I ordered from, yeah, they didn't even hesitate to give me my money back when I told them it didn't fit, because I sent them pictures and showed them how the needle was hitting on the side of the walking foot. So they never even hesitated. They knew. And they need to keep their ratings online, so they weren't going to give me a hard time. So anyway, yeah, so this is going to go, like I said in my last video, this generic one that said it's an SA140, which it is not. Although it's a nice made walking foot, they didn't request this back. So I have an old, as I said in my last video, I have an old mechanical 5mm wide, old mechanical sewing machine that I'll put that and use that for this. I'll use this for that machine. And this, now I've got the right walking foot for this machine with a quilting bar, so you can do your settings of how the distance between the rows when you're doing channel stitching. All right, I hope that helped you. Remember, look for authentic parts and make sure it's 7mm wide. Okay, very important. Don't make the mistake I did here. And see, I admitted my mistakes, you know, and it actually wasn't my mistake, because when I went online and I read, they said this was the SA140 for the machine, for my sewing machine SE625, but it's not. And then when I went and got this one again, let me take this off and show you again. The picture said, you know, the description said this is authentic Brother walking foot, and it has the name Brother on the side. And I thought, okay, because sometimes you'll see these knockoffs and they'll eliminate a letter or something to make it look like the same brand, but it's not. So be careful with that too. I learned that a long time ago. So yes, this was the original walking foot for the brand. So, okay, just want to give you an update and show you. All right, everybody, take care. Bye.